Good afternoon. Very pleased to welcome Mr. Rasih Ozturkmen, managing partner of Carbonaires, based in London, UK. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank
Carbon
you.
credit is a big topic, is a big sector indeed for the advancement. But the first thing someone would think about is greenwashing amid all what's going on globally and in the Middle East. What is your strategy in this regard?
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. On the point of greenwashing, we're actually, as a company, we're very careful. We have policies in two regards. One of them is the integrity of the carbon credits that we are involved with, and the other one is who we sell carbon credits to.
So this is the most important point.
Yeah, exactly. So what we don't want to do is to facilitate greenwashing. So, and how do we define greenwashing, and how the industry defines greenwashing is important as well. So we would like to see tangible, measurable efforts put in place by the corporations that we deal with in terms of decarbonizing their own supply chain. So as long as they are on a journey, and we can see that they are trying to reduce their carbon emissions, we're very happy to be involved in an effort to get them down to all the way down to zero. Now, additionally, I would say that taking the greenwashing discussions too far by some of the critics is not resulting in the intended consequences, and instead it results in green hushing. Meaning that people do good things, but
which
they don't
is very big in
about
the Middle East. We're suffering a lot of green hushing because culturally, basically, we are a bit reserved and conservative. When it comes to policies, as you know, the UAE is very much keen to align the policies across the board with the world's best practices. We saw the unified GCC, unified ESG platform, and how do you see that we can develop policies in the Middle East in regards to your sector?
I think actually the policy track record and the formation of new initiatives in the Middle East has been impressive. I would say that in this regard, I would not say the Middle East is lagging behind too much. There are certain global developments which the Middle Eastern governments are following up closely. And then there are also some local improvements or initiatives that take place. So when we think about, for example, what the Abu Dhabi Stock Exchange has done in terms of voluntary carbon credits, that was very innovative and forward-thinking. And sometimes these, I would say, they're not government institutions, but maybe semi-government or semi-regulatory, semi-regulated institutions like that take the lead. And that helped, I suppose, the Middle East in terms of what's happening there. And in Qatar, a verification agency has been formed called GCC. That was an additional one to Vera Gold Standard at the time, and now perhaps Puro Earth. Yep.
You have partnerships worldwide in this regard. Partnerships play a major role in advancing your business. What is your strategy in terms of partnerships in the Middle East?
We think that the solution to climate change and climate challenges is not going to come without the Middle East. And therefore, we are very, very keen on developing partnerships in that part of the world. The solution doesn't exist without the Middle East, basically. Correct. So we're very open to partnerships, and we hope that the COP meetings that will happen.
Any partnership? Have you done any partnerships in this regard? Are you planning to develop any partnership in the Middle East?
We have some ongoing discussions in the Middle East and North Africa in regards to what can be done together, and through some of our visits, and one of our advisory board members who's based in Dubai, we're looking to create some more tangible partnerships for sure.
Yes. In terms of AI, as you know, the UAE is at the forefront. We are the first country to have a state minister of AI. What is the role of AI in monitoring, managing, and tracking carbon credits and achieving carbon neutrality?
I think, and we think that AI will have a transformative impact on dealing with the challenges of carbon credits, carbon emissions. If you look back a few years, verification, monitoring, and selection of portfolio investments, these have all been very manual. And I think one of the things that we are doing at Carbonaires is to build the platform based on AI that can do all of these things in a much better and more efficient way, which will help us scale and divert capital to flow into the projects.
Yeah, thank you. Basically, off topic a bit, I see your background in fashion. We at ESG Mena, the first and only ESG Knowledge Hub, have been very keen to push forward, taking into account that fashion is the second contributor in terms of carbon emission. What is your recommendation to develop basically awareness and this sector, fashion, include them further in the Middle East?
Right. I mean, I guess because I was in that sector, I got to see the impacts firsthand. And I also started to see that the discussions around the supply chain were turning more around net zero, how to decarbonize and everything. So that whole industry is very much aware of it. And I think
but we're not seeing solid actions in this regard. That's what we need.
In the
Middle East.
I agree. But coming from the Middle East myself, I know that sometimes we wait and see, observe, and then we run faster than anybody else. So I'm hoping that this is going to be the case.
What are the top two recommendations in this regard to advance further?
In terms of, I guess, recycling and the use of some of the chemicals in that industry, water wastage, all of these things, and the type of material used, and how often we wash them, how often we change our clothing, all of these things contribute to it.
Back to carbon credit, basically. How do you foresee the advancement of that sector overall in the Middle East? What is the appetite? How can we push it further?
At the moment, what we see is that there's a lot of demand in terms of quantity of carbon credits coming from the Middle East. It's basically with the view to offset ton per ton what is emitted, and the quality focus has not been there. So the quantity focus has been there, and the pricing considerations have been there, but not as much a focus on the quality. What we expect is that in the coming days and weeks, there will be a focus on setting internal prices for carbon credits and looking for projects that will supply the types of credits that they need long term, that the companies will need long term.
Do you project any big announcement in this regard at COP28 or around COP28?
We do expect a lot of improvements on Article 6. We see that progress has been made last year. There will be probably more progress made this year. More alignment on ambitions, more alignment on goals. We expect these things to come out, and perhaps a boost coming from the Middle East because it's taking place there.
Mr. Ozturkmen, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.